What a great way to start the new year. It's so good to be here with all of you. Fellow Rotarians, will you help me make our guests feel welcome today? So I'm going to call the name of the guest and their host Rotarian. If you will stand, and then when all have been introduced, we will acknowledge them. Amanda Boyd is here with Brian Bovard, as is Zoe Hale. Will you please stand? We're glad to have you. With Daniel Gomez, we have Camille Owens and former Rotarian Jesse Guardiola. Will you please stand? Stacy Leffler is here with Jenny Hammock. Dana Simon, the wife of Norm Simon. Dino Teague is here with Barney James. Glad to have you. And Mark Wilson, who is the spouse of Allison Anthony, is with us today. We're glad to have you. Connor Carroll is a colleague of Roger Ramsire. And will you say a welcome to Brett Bruff, who is a visiting Rotarian from Southside. Would you please say welcome, Brett? And with him is a future Rotary Scholar, and his name is Ty Rosso. We're so glad to have everyone. Let's welcome them all. Madam President.
Thank you, Past President Chuck, and all of our volunteers that make this special day happen. Another year has come and gone. To all of our directors, volunteers, donors, and members, thank you so much for all of your support, your help, donations, and continued membership into 2023. You are all great Rotarians who practice service above self. With so many things to be grateful for this past year and so many more activities to be excited about in the second half of the Rotary year, here are a few things that you may have missed last year. I know it's old news, but we are back to 4 meetings and hot meals. We have had some phenomenal social events, thanks to our social events committee, and some great speakers every week. We've hosted our first annual Wine, Cheese, and Chocolate, where we raised over $13,000 net profit for our first year. Our Sarges have raised over $21,000 due to your generosity and their offensiveness, comedy acts. Again, a special thanks to our 3 Sarges who have stepped up and taken on this role in a different capacity. So thank you guys for stepping up to that challenge. We had another successful year with Shop of the Cop, as well as Salvation Army Bell Ringers. We made a difference at Celia Clinton Elementary. Thank you, Jenny Hammock and Daniel Gomez, for all the work that you do, and also for your leadership and everyone who volunteered on January 3rd. I know it's hard coming back after the 1st, so thank you guys, everyone, for all of your volunteerism. We've also started conversations on how you can not only protect your family from being groomed into human trafficking, but also better understand the signs of knowing exactly what to do if someone reports that incident to you. The story of the Tulsa High School girl that was mentioned last week from East Central High School, I'm sorry, not last week, but last month, was a great example of a rescue situation here in Tulsa because someone knew exactly what to do. This month is Human Trafficking Prevention Month. Do you know the signs? Do you know what to do if it's reported to you? Do you know? If you need any more information on that training, please let me know. But wait, there's more. I've officially started building the plane, as I promised, as I said I would, the Curtiss Condor Resurrected. Have I mentioned I like airplanes? Does anyone know that? For those Rotarians I've seen for the first time in the past couple of months, in case you didn't know, I do like airplanes, so I talk about airplanes a lot. This airplane was flying in 1933, and it was the first transcontinental airline that was American Airways before it became American Airlines. Admiral Byrd also used it to discover the North and the South Pole. So once I finish this plane, I'm the only person that has a set of these plans. So once I finish this airplane, not only am I going to go dig out the lost condor in Antarctica, but I'm also going to fly this plane around the world and be the first person to go from the North Pole to South Pole. So get ready, watch out. And doing that, I will be really raising, the whole purpose of that is it's not about me, it's not about Rotary, it's really to bring awareness and make sure that other people know exactly what to do if this is reported to them all around the world. My life mission is to end all of human slavery. As we look forward to the future within our club, while being grateful for the past, we still have a lot to accomplish this Rotary year. Like Camp Enterprise, the Oklahoma City Exchange, the Club Exchange on May 3rd. I really encourage you to join some of these fantastic committees if you're not doing so already. Engage your fellow Rotarians. Remember, proximity is power. We have a few side mic announcements of some of those other upcoming activities. Let's start with Jerry Stamper with Rotary Youth Exchange. And as he's coming up, I'll have Jenny Hammock and Brian Jackson come up with Junior Achievement, Monica Martin and Tom Peralt with Above and Beyond Awards, and then finally, Rob Walters with Business Visitation. Thank you, Jerry.
Yes, 2 weeks from this Friday, we're going to have 100 students from all around the world here in Tulsa, coming from North Dakota, Kansas, Missouri, all over. And we really are needing around maybe 15 to 20 additional host families. I know it's a great opportunity to be around a lot of neat young people. And it's just one evening, Friday, January 27th. So look at your calendars and see what would work for you, and contact me or someone else on the Rotary Youth Exchange Committee. We're trying to get those people vetted and out the door. And again, we're going to have 100 kids, and they need a place to stay, and we want to have them staying in our community. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jerry.
All right, my fellow Rotarians, just like President Jerry was speaking, that really the future is in our classrooms. It starts in our classrooms, and I'm very thankful that our Partners in Education Committee, good leadership, we have taken the initiative to bring Junior Achievement Life Skills to Celia Clinton. We're going to have Rotarians back in the classroom, 19 Rotarians from kindergarten through 5th grade, all right? And even before we made a club-wide announcement, we had 7 volunteer. We've created a partnership with Catholic Charities. They're just down the street from Celia Clinton, and they've committed to 5 volunteers. So we're going to do a quick math. So that's 7 plus 5, that's 12. We need 7 more Rotarians to go into the classroom at Celia Clinton. All right, now it's easy as this. We're going to have training, and that's going to be on January 25th, right after a Rotary Club meeting. So we'll be able to understand what we're going to be teaching, those life skills for Celia Clinton. And then on February 8th, February 9th, that's when we're going to have the JA in a Day at Celia Clinton. Now, let's give an exercise here, all right? Now, I've done this with the 5th graders, so if the 5th graders can do it, surely adults can do it. Is that right? So here we go. We're going to do a callback. And in a situation that you've got a classroom that really needs to get back organized onto the speaker, now their attention back to you, it's something called a callback. Now, as Rotarians, let's do this. So if I say service, can you say above self? Can we do this? All right, here we go. Service.
Above self.
Service.
Above self.
Service.
Above self.
All right, we're going to be all right.
Good job.
Thank you very much.
Hello. Rob and I are co-chairing the Above and Beyond Awards this year, and hopefully everybody has a sponsorship page on their table. If you don't, it was also in the Monday morning minute email or whatever that's called. It's important, but yes, it's in, I think, whatever it's called. And so Rob would like to say something too.
Well, I'm just going to say, if there's 2 or 3 people at the table and you all are interested in making a donation, you can fight over that form. So anyway, but we would like everyone that's interested in making a donation, no matter what size, or if you have a business, corporation that wants to make a sizable donation, we'll take them in any size, shape, and color.
May 3rd.
The event is May 3rd. So As most of you that have been to an Above and Beyond Awards, you know that it's a wonderful event. Room will be full with our finest police officers and firefighters. So hope to see you there.
You can contact either one of us or Tom Peralt. He's also helping with the fundraising. So thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. Somebody said that there's not a Rotary meeting next Wednesday. That is not the case. We've got several Rotary meetings next week. It's Business Visitation Day. There are your options. Just a quick show by hands. Who has registered for the Business Visitation Day? Okay. All right. For those of you who haven't, let me just go through top 5 reasons why you should attend Business Visitation Day. Number 1, probably the most important, show some support for your fellow Rotarian. Pretty simple. Number 2, get to know your host better. I mean, the visitations I go to, I knew Chuck Wilson, but I didn't really know him that well. And when I came away from his visitation hosting, I knew him a lot better. So it's a great way to get to know your host better. Number 3, gain better understanding of your host role, what their company or organization does, and understand their culture. Number 4, ask them how best you can help them. What kind of client, what kind of donation partner do they look for? Just ask questions. And finally, number 5, lunch is provided. I don't know about you, but I think all great conversations usually center around a meal. So go to DACDB. It's about 3 or 4 clicks, take you less than 30 seconds. Sign up and get busy next Wednesday and go support your fellow Rotarian. Thanks.
As Rob said, we encourage you to sign up for all of these activities. If you want to check out a sheriff in action, catching online crazy people, you don't want to miss Business Visitation Day. There's going to be a lot of great companies that are signed up. I just want to reiterate, Paul Harris, does anyone know who Paul Harris is? Uncle Paul? Paul Harris? He wrote, each Rotarian is a connecting link between the idealism of Rotary and the trade or profession. Again, just a reminder, Rotary was based on Rotarians rotating their businesses. So I highly encourage you to sign up for this great activity coming up. Guess what time it is? It's Sarge time.
So some of you may have noticed that Ed wasn't here last time we had a meeting. Apparently somebody noticed because they called him and asked if he was coming back. So here he is, back with us again. So Ed, how was Christmas? Everything go good?
Bob, Christmas was great. In particular, I got an awesome gift. I got
Really?
an egg slicer.
Oh, cool.
Really cool deal. Now, I was into about halfway through my second dozen eggs before my wife told me you're supposed to hard boil them first. So
Ed's not real smart.
how about your exercise situation, Bob?
Well, I was really encouraged. I finally made it to the health zone last week with about 10 million other people. And got there. Is Graydon Yohe here today? He's the man. Yeah, way back there in the back. He's the head poobah there. And, you know, if you're going to put the treadmills on the second floor, that's kind of a problem. If I could go up a flight of stairs, I wouldn't need to go to the health zone. So put them down where I can get to them, okay? What am I supposed to say to you?
This is the lottery thing.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's right. The lottery, yeah. The memory goes as you get older. Have you got a lottery ticket? You know, it's way up there, like I think 1.3 billion or something like that.
I don't, but I will.
Yeah, you should, you know. But it always makes me wonder, why don't we ever see a headline that says, psychic wins lottery? Why doesn't that ever happen?
They
Seems
don't
like
know
they
either.
ought-
Yeah,
they don't know and they don't care. Okay.
Before I do my last thing, Brian, I need to sign Bob up for the junior achievement thing, but not as a teacher, as a student, because your life skills are lacking. So I think you'd have a chance to do that. This weekend, my wife told me I need to get in touch with my inner female.
Yeah.
So I crashed the car and ignored her for no reason all day long.
Whoa. Well, you know, at the first of the year, we said we were going to try to offend everybody. Well, I think we just offended half the room. Way
Good
to go,
job.
Ed. Yeah, good
We're back
job.
on track, Bob.
Yeah, okay.
We got him there. Let's move into our slides, shall we? Okay, Joe Moran, known for his generosity, And he and his wife Darcy celebrated their 45th wedding anniversary by going to France and taking a 125-mile bike ride. Now, Joe, most of us for our anniversary will buy flowers or dinner for our wife. Joe bought her a whole damn village over in France. It's Darcy, France. So well done, Joe. $1,000 to the club. All right. There it is. I did push the button. Okay. Anyway, a very generous anonymous donor gave $1,000 to our foundation to honor all the parents, siblings, spouses, and children of armed forces members who serve away from home. Thank you for your sacrifice along with your loved one's service. So whoever you are, thank you very much. Incoming President Tiffany Egdorf. Happy birthday, January 19th, $100. Thank you, Tiffany. David Dopp, $137 fine, 49 years in Rotary, 79 trips around the sun, and his son Davis's age of 9 years old. So, thank you very much, David. Philip Viles, standing up, proud as can be. $48 wedding anniversary for Phil and Cinda on January 11th. Did you buy her a town in France, Phil? Probably so. Look at that smile on Phil. I didn't know Phil could smile. That is a beautiful smile, Phil. So very good. Thank you for your donation. Okay, lastly, our Celia Clinton Committee is they have a project of gathering funds so that they can buy teachers supplies, little graduation gowns, snacks, all kinds of stuff for the school. And what they are going to do is anyone that has a fine or a donation earmarked for Celia Clinton, that committee's budget will match it. So you're doubling the impact to Celia Clinton. So keep that in mind for the next few weeks so we can stack the jack and get the kids a bunch of stuff there at Celia Clinton, right?
What'd you say?
Stack the jack.
Okay.
Money. There we go. All right. And I think that's it.
I'm through.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, thank you.
Thank you to the three Sarges, past presidents, Bob, Ed, and Rochelle. And again, thank you for all of our members who support our foundation. Our Rotarian of the day is Daniel Gomez. Daniel is a partner at Connor & Winters. He works primarily as a litigator with experience in Native American law and policy, gaming, insurance, bankruptcy, and business disputes. He practices in Oklahoma and Texas and appears regularly in state, federal, and tribal courts where he has worked on several jury and non-jury trials and appeals. He serves as an adjunct professor at the University of Tulsa College of Law, where he has taught courses in federal Indian law. His practice includes pro bono work in matters including religious freedom, civil rights, and immigration. Daniel obtained his law degree from Southern Methodist University in 2008 and earned an economics degree from Oklahoma State in 2004. In 2022, he received a Top Lawyers Under 40 award from the Hispanic National Bar Association, and in 2013 was named Outstanding Young Lawyer by Tulsa County Bar Association. He appears regularly in annual ranking issued by Chamber USA and Super Lawyers magazine. Within the Rotary Club of Tulsa, he has served as Sergeant at Arms, Partners in Education Chair, and will serve as our club president in 2024-25. Daniel is a mayor-appointed commissioner on the Greater Tulsa Area Hispanic Chamber Area Commission and is a deputy regional president for the Hispanic National Bar Association. This all legal stuff is a lot of words to talk. He is also a member of Leadership Oklahoma, Leadership Tulsa, and is a board for the Tulsa Historical Society and the Council Oaks Elementary School Foundation. Please welcome President-elect nominee Daniel Gomez.
Thank you, President Jerry. It's my great honor and privilege today to introduce our speaker, Second Chief of the Muskogee Nation, Del Beaver. Del was born and raised in Tulsa. He's a proud graduate of Jenks High School. He received his higher education at Northeastern State University with a BS in Environmental Management and an MS in Industrial Operations Management. He started his professional career as an intern at the Bureau of Land Management in Anchorage, Alaska, and then at the Cherokee Nation as an environmental protection specialist. In 2005, Dell continued his career at the Muskogee Nation as an environmental specialist and later as the Director of Environmental Services. In 2015, he was elected to the Muskogee Nation National Council as the Okmulgee District Representative. While on the council, Dell served on the Land, Natural Resources, and Cultural Committee. Dell has also served on numerous boards and is a member of the 2019 Leadership Native Oklahoma class. In 2019, the citizens of the nation elected him to serve as the second chief of the Great Muskogee Nation. Dell has helped lead the nation through the COVID pandemic and the McGirt Supreme Court decision. Dell is also the representative for the Oklahoma City Area IHS Budget Formulation Committee and is the Eastern Oklahoma Alternative Representative on the first ever Secretary Tribal Advisory Committee for the Department of Interior, Secretary Deb Holland. Dell has a passion to serve his people as an associate pastor at Native Stone Baptist Church, an active member of the Morris Indian community, and a softball dad. He has been happily married to Rhonda for the last 17 years, and they have 3 children, Isaiah, Olivia, and Adele, and 1 grandchild, Nyla Kay. His parents are former Principal Chief R. Perry and Miriam Bruner Beaver. In addition to all of that, I'm really happy to do this introduction because Dell happens to be a member of the current class of Leadership Oklahoma, Class 35, of which I am also a member, and we have some of our classmates right here. I told them to be on their best behavior, Dell, so I think we're going to be okay. So with all of that, again, my great privilege to introduce Second Chief Beaver.
Oh, good afternoon. Dell Beaver, Jifkados. I am of the New Tulsa Tribal Town, and I'm also a member of the Okmulgee clan. I want to give a short history. I say a short history of our nation because we believe that whenever we do business with somebody, and people come, and believe me, we get lots of people coming in and they want to do business with a nation. We believe it's important that you get to know the person more than just the business, because you can learn a lot about their business just from that person. And so I like to give. So what we do is we like to sit down, have coffee, preferably have lunch or breakfast, and we talk to that person just so we can know where they're from and why they do the things they do. And so I'm going to give a short history of our nation, just so you know kind of where I'm coming from and why we do the things we do. Back in our ancestral homelands in Alabama and Georgia, we consisted of tribal towns with a mother town. A mother town might be like, let's just say Tulsa, and then a tribal town could be like a suburb, okay? And so that's what we consisted of. We weren't one big united tribe. We were different tribal towns across Alabama and Georgia. If you have any Muskogee blood in you, then you can trace back to where your tribal town is. And we all have a clan. We have a clan society. Clans are very important in our tribe because you can't marry within your clan, or you can't eat something of your clan. So if you were of the deer clan, you can't eat deer meat. Okay, and so it's very important to know what clan you are. And so we're a matrilineal society also, meaning that you get your clan from your mom's side. And so my clan, Okmulgee, is actually a Seminole clan because my mom's mom is Seminole. And so it roughly translates into water animal. And so I'm not going to say that's a fish because I like eating catfish, and so I'm not going to stop eating catfish, all right? So whatever they tell me a water animal is, as long as it's not catfish, we're good. So a little, like I said, a little history. Whenever we had European contact, the Europeans dubbed us and the Choctaws and Chickasaws, Cherokees, and Seminoles as the 5 civilized tribes, because that's the first contact we had with them. When the Revolutionary War broke out in the 1770s and the 1780s, really that divided us because we had to pick a side. some of us wanted to fight with the U.S. or the Continental Army. Some of us wanted to fight with the French. Some of us wanted to fight with the British, and some wanted to remain neutral. And they said, "Hey, that's a white man's war. It's not our war." Okay, and so, but really, in the end, it didn't matter. It didn't matter which side you fought on, because after the Revolutionary War, encroachment was coming down into our homelands, and so then we saw in the 1830, President Andrew Jackson signed the Indian Removal Act, and basically what followed was the Trail of Tears after that for the 5 tribes. We all know the history of the Trail of Tears and the removal. After the Trail of Tears, in the 1860s, the Civil War broke out, and again, we were divided on who to side with. Some of us sided with the Union, some of us sided with the Confederacy, and some of us said, "Hey, we're going to sit out. That's not our war." But really, in the end, it didn't matter. It didn't matter. The federal government saw us as an enemy, and so they proceeded to have termination policies. And so some of those termination policies was in 1870, the first boarding school opened up in Carlisle, Pennsylvania. Carlisle Indian Boarding School was the first boarding school that opened up. The goal of boarding schools was assimilation, and their slogan was "Kill the Indian but save the man." And so there was over 400 boarding schools across the nation, over 100 here in Indian Territory alone. And there's boarding schools to this day. And this was not like really a long history, because my mom was I don't want to say a product, but she went to boarding school. She went to Schlocko Boarding School here in Oklahoma. And she was, I don't want to say beaten, but she was beaten for speaking her language. She didn't know any English growing up. So they basically forced the culture and language out of you. That's through assimilation. And there are still in existence. So it's not like it's a long time ago. It's not. It's one generation ago where these things happened. In 1887, President Cleveland signed the Dawes Act. The Dawes Act, really what it did was it divided up our reservations into individual allotted lands, which is very important because in 1906, we had the final Dawes Rolls. And what the Dawes Rolls did was if your name was not on that Dawes Rolls, then you weren't considered a member of that tribe. Okay? And so to this day, if somebody wants to become a citizen of the Muskogee Creek Nation, they have to trace their lineage all the way back to that 1906 Dawes Rolls. If you can't trace it back, you're not a part of the nation, flat out. And so that Dawes Rolls really is what signifies, or how it guarantees you being a part of the nation. So if you can't trace your lineage back to a name on that Dawes Rolls, then sorry, you will not become a part of the tribe. In 1924, Congress passed the Indian Citizenship Act, granting all Native Americans citizenship. We weren't citizens until 1924. 1924, less than 100 years ago. We weren't. Not all of us were citizens. I should say that. If you're a veteran, you might have been granted citizenship. Depending on your blood quantum, you might have been granted citizenship. But all of us weren't granted citizenship until 1924. In 1968, Congress passed the Indian Civil Rights Act, which is our version of the Bill of Rights. The Bill of Rights is the first 10 amendments of the Constitution, right? It didn't include Native Americans. All right? So our Bill of Rights, which is the Indian Civil Rights Act, wasn't passed until 1968. Not too long ago. In 1975, Congress passes the Indian Self-Determination Education Act. I was born in 1975. And that act just then reverses the decades of termination policies. 47 years ago, they decided to stop the termination of Native Americans. Wasn't that long ago. 1978, Congress passed the American Indian Religious Freedom Act. We had the ability to have our own religions again. Not too long ago, right? 1990, Congress passes NAGPRA, Native American Graves Protection and Repatriation Act. Give us back our people. Stop digging our people up. To this day, we still have universities in Georgia and Alabama, governmental institutions that have our people. Men, women, and children stuffed away in boxes, and they won't give it back to us. We need to stop that. In 2020, Washington, D.C. football team dropped the term Redskins as their mascot. The same year, Union Public Schools decides to look at dropping their name from as the Redskins, which they eventually did. I was happy to say that I sat on that committee that talked about dropping the term Redskins. And as you heard, in 2021, Deborah Holland, a citizen of the Laguna Pueblo tribe, the first Native American confirmed to cabinet as a Secretary of the Interior. Monumental for Native Americans all across the nation. And I'm happy to be a STAC member for her. I'm one of 24 that represents 574 tribes across the nation. That's a great pride that I can say that I represent. I'm one of 24 that represents 574 tribes, over 2 million Native Americans, and I help represent those. So in a nutshell, thinking about all this history, I'm really not even supposed to be here, right? I'm really not even supposed to be here. And so really, you should feel very privileged to hear me speak. So take that with you. But some of the information that I want to share about our nation, my nation, the Muskogee Creek Nation. I can talk about our nation for a long time, so I'm very proud of what we've done. Currently, we sit about 98,000 tribal citizens. We're the fourth largest tribe in the United States. We have around 3,800 employees that make up our administration, our health department, and our gaming enterprises. We own 8 gaming enterprises throughout our reservation, with the crown jewel being River Spirit. If you've never been to River Spirit, I urge you to go and try the games out and donate to our education fund. We operate 7 IHS clinics. IHS stands for Indian Health Service. And so if you have a Indian card, a tribal citizenship card, it doesn't matter what tribe you are. It doesn't matter where you are. If there's an IHS clinic, then you can go and get medical services there at that clinic. And so we operate 7 of them around our reservation, with another one to be opened up, hopefully the latter part of this year down in Hughes County, down by Holdenville. We operate 3 community hospitals around our reservation, and those are hospitals for anybody. It doesn't matter what color you are. It doesn't matter what race you are, nationality. It doesn't matter. It's a hospital for everybody. So we operate a hospital in Okemah. We built a $52 million hospital in Okemah. We bought the Okmulgee Hospital. It was failing. It was in the red. And so we bought it about 8 years ago, and now it's a functioning hospital that makes money. I know hospitals, that's not their purpose, is to make money, but if you're going to keep the doors open, you got to be making some type of money, right? And so under correct management, that's a successful hospital, which in about 3 months, we'll be starting a $11 million renovation of the emergency room of that hospital, because that's what the people need in that area. And also, we bought the former Cancer Treatment Center of America on 81st Street and 169. That's a 20-acre property with about 300,000 square feet of medical space. And so we're gearing up, and we're starting to move towards surgeries and that type of thing. And so that's for everybody also. And so it's important to note that we don't necessarily go where the money is, but we go where the need is. That's what's most important to us. It's not the money, but where's the need at? And so where the need is, that's where we will be. Rural hospitals have been closing down all over Oklahoma for the last decade. There's not very many people pumping $52 million into rural Oklahoma to open up a hospital. There's not very many people that will open up a 130,000 square foot facility down in Hughes County, but we will, because that's where the need is. We worry about the money later. The most important thing is the need. Wherever there's a need, that's where we must go. That's where all of us must go, right? As Rotarians, from what I understand, if there's a need, somebody has to go, right? The Bible says, God, send me, right? Send me. We all have a purpose. And that's what I see my purpose is as second chief. Where there's a need, that's where we'll go. At our education department, we operate 7 child development centers, daycares. We operate 7 of those facilities. We have a Head Start program. We operate 6 Head Start programs in different facilities around our reservation. We do have a boarding school. We own this boarding school. We operate this down in Eufaula for grades 1 through 12. And we operate this is because we want to change the stigma of what a boarding school is. My wife went to boarding school at Tahlequah Sequoia. My son chose to go to boarding school at Tahlequah Sequoia. He wanted to go there. And so, and now I have my 8th grade daughter. She wants to go there to Tahlequah Sequoia. I'm trying to convince her not to go because I don't want her to leave the house. But anyway, but we have the ability to change stigmas. We have the ability to change what people think of things, right? And so we all have that ability, right? I look around this room and I see a lot of leaders in this room. If you're a leader, you have the ability to change things, for better or for worse. You have the ability to change things. So when we leave this earth, our goal is to always leave things better than what we found it, right? And so leave it better than what you found it. We have a college in the Muskogee Nation. We opened that up about 10 years ago. It's a 2-year college, and we have our eyes on making a 4-year college. We just hired our first basketball coach. And so we're going to have a basketball coach, and we're going to have a basketball team, and we're pushing towards having a softball team. So maybe in 4 years, my daughter will be playing on the Ravens, the Muskogee Nation Ravens team. Our government is divided in 3 branches, just like the federal government. We have an executive branch, which is Chief Hill, and he's responsible for the daily functions of the nation. We have 10 division secretaries, and for the first time in our history, half of those secretaries are women. Under Chief Hill, we had our first ever woman chief of staff. Under Chief Hill, we had our first ever woman attorney general, Jerry Wisner. Boy, you don't mess with Jerry. She's a former Marine. You don't mess with Jerry, you know. We have our legislative branch, which is our Make Our Laws, our national council. And we have our judicial branch. We have a Supreme Court. We have a district judge. We have 4 judges that do daily judge things. I don't know what they do, but they do judge things. And so I want to talk about, that's kind of where we've been and what we are and what we're doing. I want to talk a little bit about our culture here at the nation. We still have our language, although we're fighting to keep it, to be honest with you. We still have our cultural identity, but both are under stress right now. COVID hit us hard. It hit us really, really hard. We lost a lot of elders during COVID. We lost a lot of fluent language speakers during COVID. We lost a lot of what we call ceremonial ground leaders during COVID. And so whenever you lose somebody, you lose that knowledge also. And so typically our knowledge isn't handwritten. We don't keep it in a book. Our knowledge is lived. We pass it down from generation to generation by doing those things side by side with the younger generation. That's how we pass down our knowledge. So it may be a fault on ours because we don't believe in really writing things down. We believe in living it. All right? And so we still have those things. We still have our ceremonial grounds that keep our fires burning from the homelands. And so I say that because whenever we crossed over on the Trail of Tears, our tribal towns, our ceremonial grounds, they brought coals from their fires with them on the Trail of Tears. And every time they stopped, they used those coals to resurrect a fire. And whenever they had to pick up and leave again, they took those coals with them. And so wherever they stopped and created a fire, they used the same coals over and over and over again. And those coals still burn today here in our reservation at our ceremonial grounds. And so it's just not something that you do, it's something that you live. It's something that you live. These traditions are passed down from generation to generation. Once you're we call them Mikos. Once you're a Miko of a ceremonial ground, a king, Miko, what do you want to call it, but we call them Mikos, you're there for life. You're there for life. It doesn't stop until you pass on. And so there's all these traditions that we have that are passed down from generation to generation, but these traditions is what separates us from everyone else, right? How many tribal casinos do you know here in Oklahoma, right? Every tribe, there's 38 tribes here in Oklahoma. I think 3 of them don't have gaming facilities. We got over 130 gaming facilities here in Oklahoma. So there's no really distinction between a casino over here and a casino over there, except ours. River Spirit is great. So, but really, there's no separation though. Everybody has a casino, it seems like, right? But what is the distinct qualifier of being separating is your language and your culture. If we lose those things, we're just a government. We're just a business. That's all we are. And so that's why it's so important that we protect those things. And that's why it's so important that we keep those traditions going. Nowhere in the world, will you hear the songs that we sing. Nowhere in the world will you hear the language that we speak. Nowhere in the world. And it's being done right in your backyard. We got 16 ceremonial grounds still going today. 16. When we came over on the trail, we had 44. But now we're down to 16. So when I say our culture is under stress, it's under stress. We have over 50 traditional churches in our reservation. These traditional churches still sing our traditional hymns. These are the same hymns that were sung on the trail coming over. These are the same hymns that were sung when we didn't have time to bury somebody. That's the same hymns that are sung to this day in our churches. But this is what makes our nation great. This is what makes our nation who we are. It's the people that carry on those traditions. And this is why we have our government. This is why we have our businesses. But this all makes up the nation. And this is why we protect our sovereignty so hard. Our sovereignty is our inherent right to govern ourselves. That's what sovereignty is. It's our inherent right to govern ourselves. We don't need anybody to tell us what to do. We don't need anybody to tell us how to govern ourselves. We don't need anybody to tell us what's best for our people. We know what's best for our people. We know how to govern ourselves. It took us a little while, but mind you, I'm 47 years old, okay? We didn't have a formal government until 1979 when we passed our Constitution. So we got a lot of catching up to do, right? But we made some headway in the last 45 years. We have. We made some headway in the last 45 years. But everything that we have accomplished has also been in the face of adversity. Adversity is nothing new to us. Fighting is nothing new to us. I think some of us like fighting, actually, whether it be somebody from the outside or fighting the inside. Some of us like fighting. But the foundational layers that built my nation have now been entrusted upon me to build upon. And I take that pretty seriously. I do. I take that pretty seriously. The past that our ancestors went through, the present day battles that we are fighting to this day, I'm sure you heard about them. I'm sure you heard about McGirt. I'm sure you heard about the governor. It's nothing new to us. It's nothing new. We've been doing it our whole lives. We've been doing it throughout our whole existence. It's nothing new to us. But we do this so that we have a future for the next generation, so they can carry on that same fight. Because that's what we want to instill in our children, is that fighting spirit. Don't ever give up. Don't ever think you're less than somebody. That's what we instill. That's what I instilled in my children. That's what I instilled in my children. You're not less than anybody. I don't care what the color of your hair is. I don't care what the color of your skin is. You're not less than anybody. But it's something that we will fight tooth and nail to protect. That's our pledge, and that was our oath. And that we will fight tooth and nail to protect what's ours, to protect our elders and to protect our children. We fight tooth and nail. One of the best piece of advice I ever got was from my dad. It was back in college, and I was doing a project for one of my classes. I can't remember what it was. It was so long ago that it was a video project, and I had that camcorder like this, right? And that's how long ago it was. And so I was recording them, and so I gave him a set of 10 questions or something like that. And I said, Dad, what's the best piece of advice you can give us? And he said, in order to be considered equal, you got to just be a little bit better. Pretty simple, right? And I kept that with me for 30 years now. In order to be considered equal, I got to be just a little bit better. So that's why I go to school. That's why I go to trainings. That's why I go to Leadership Oklahoma, just to be considered equal. I'll never be satisfied. My dad taught me never be satisfied. Always keep moving forward. No matter what happens, always keep moving forward. Don't be satisfied with what you got. Just keep moving forward. And so my invitation is to everybody here in this room. Let's move forward together. If we truly want to accomplish the things that we want to accomplish, it's about partnerships, right? We can't do it alone. We can't do it alone. But you have plenty of people out there wanting to create partnerships. So let's do this thing together, whatever it is. Let's do it together. So it looks like we got about, 5 minutes for questions? So I tried to cut it off right at 20 minutes or so. So any questions out there? What I'm wearing is called a gorget. And this was made for me by one of our artisans. My wife has somebody that makes jewelry and spends a lot of my money. And so this was made by one of our artisans. His name is Kenneth Johnson. He's a citizen of ours. He lives out in Santa Fe. And so anytime you live in Santa Fe, the price goes up 50%. And so, but he made my dad's gorget when my dad was principal chief. And so this is historically when you're a leader in like a warring town, we had peace towns and we had war towns. And so if you lived in a war town, then you wore these because it protects your vital areas, protect your neck, heart area, and so these are typically worn by leadership in our nation. Chris.
Second Chief, I was wondering if you could elaborate a little bit. Thank you for the history lesson, first of all. I love reading about the history. The decline in the ceremonial places.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a situation where the MECO passes and you can't start up another ceremonial place? Is that what's happening? I'm wondering, can you grow your ceremonial?
The answer is yes and no. Yes. The question was our ceremonial grounds. We've reduced from 44 to 16. And so is it because of the MECO passing away? Is it because of why does it really have gone down from 44 to 16? And the answer is that yes, you can restart a fire, but it takes a long process. And to be honest with you, there's some debate on what that process is. And so you can only have a fire extinguished for 4 years, and after 4 years, that's it. You're done. There's no more ceremonial grounds, and so it's a long process from what I understand, and a lot of that knowledge has already passed on, and so that's why it's really that our focus now is let's keep these 16 that we got going, but yeah, that's typically why that MECO or somebody that has that knowledge has passed on, and for whatever reason that knowledge stopped with them. And so it's unfortunate, but yeah, that knowledge is gone. Yes.
If you had children you wanted to better understand the Muskogee Creek culture or tradition,
Mm-hmm.
what opportunities exist to observe or participate or learn for children, for non-Native American children growing up here?
Okay. So if you have a child, what opportunities are there to learn more about the nation, right? The culture and stuff. We have a festival every June in Okmulgee. I encourage everybody to come down and to our festival. It's usually hot as all get out, but it's a 3-day festival. We start off on a Thursday with a stomp dance, and typically we don't have. There's a lot of grounds that view that our dances should stay in the grounds. And so there's a couple grounds that, they're autonomous, and so they can make their own decision, but a couple grounds that view it as more of a learning thing and more of a something that we do just as people to get together. And so on Thursdays, we start out with a stomp dance. There's 500 people there. We feed everybody. Everything's free. And so, but then you can learn really just about kind of who we are there. But the festival's nice. I mean, we have acts come in. I mean, we had the Jackson 5 come in one time, and we have, country bands, rock bands, all sorts of bands come in on Friday and Saturday night. And it's all free. We don't want to make money on our own people. And so everything's free except for food. You got to pay for food. But also there's opportunities also, like our website has some links. But one of the things that we have talked about is that we're not doing enough on that end, though. We have a Johnson O'Malley program on many of our schools. Johnson O'Malley is like Indian education. And so usually if your child goes to public school, there's a good chance they have a Johnson O'Malley program. And so that's an opportunity to learn more about not just one tribe, but many tribes. And so I would start there to see if your child if your school has a Johnson O'Malley program within that school, and then just kind of follow the chain from there.
Having had the privilege of witnessing your inaugural festivities several years ago, I was amazed at the amount of faith that is woven through the tribal nation.
Mm-hmm.
Can you comment on when did that faith element start to come into the tribe in your history? Second quick free question is Muskogee Creek Nation. I saw in the news a couple years ago about maybe dropping the creek. What is the status of the branding, and
Okay.
how should we refer to the nation?
Good question. I'll answer the second one first. That's the easiest one to answer. When we dropped Creek out of Muskogee Creek Nation, that was just a marketing. That's all it was. Just purely marketing. It's easier to say Muskogee Nation than Muskogee Creek Nation, and also it's because it's kind of a misnomer, because a lot of people think that Muskogee means creek because it's in parentheses, right? It doesn't. Muskogee means Muskogee. It means it's a people, and creek is what the British called us because we live by waterways, and so that's the moniker they gave us. And so really, there's a lot of people that don't like the term creek. And so, but it's officially that's how we're officially in the books as Muskogee Creek Nation. And so that's how we're officially known as. But our official seal says Muskogee Nation. And so we just, for marketing purposes and just for ease of use, we just dropped that and put Muskogee Nation. But we are still the Muskogee Creek Nation. And so that's when you see parentheses, Muskogee does not mean creek. Okay, that's just something that the Europeans gave us. And so the other question is about our faith woven into our culture is that I wish we had more time to talk about that one, because that's really an interesting topic. But I asked my dad, I grew up Methodist, but I'm a Baptist preacher now. And I asked my dad, I said, Dad, why are we Methodist? He goes, well, that's who got to us first. So to me, my personal opinion is that I don't care if you're Baptist, I don't care if you're Methodist, I don't care if you're Republican, Democrat. All those titles are meant for division. That's what in my opinion, that's what it's meant for, is to divide people. We can't afford to be divided. And so if you believe in God, great. If you believe that Jesus Christ is our Lord and Savior, even better. But Jesus Christ is always going to be the point of division, okay? And so my purpose is not to judge people. My purpose is just to go out there and treat people the way that Jesus wants me to treat people, with love and respect. And so that's what I try to do. And most days I accomplish that. But faith has always been woven in and out of our culture. Typically, it was back in the old ways is either you're a Settlement Grounds or you go to church. You got to pick one of the two. You can't do both. That has relaxed and currently, and some people still hold to that. But hey, whatever. That's fine. To each their own. But I support people to have their own choice. You can't make somebody choose Jesus Christ, even though that's what the federal government did to us. And so I'm not going to do that to the next generation. And so I just say it is what it is. And we have options out there. And so Jerry's standing, and so I guess my time is up. That's right. That's right.
Thank you so much for being here, Chief. And please give Chief Hill our regards. Missed him today. A book recognizing today's program will be presented to our partner in school education, School, Celia Clinton Elementary. This week's book is Fry Bread, a Native American family story, which Chief has also inscribed for us. Upcoming programs, January 18th. Remember, we will not be meeting here. We'll be at our business visitation programs. There we go. Also, don't forget to sign up for our business visitation. All of our speakers at our side mics announcements that were mentioned, let me refresh those. Youth Rotary Exchange, we really need some more people. Junior Achievement, Above and Beyond Awards, and again, our business visitation. The following week will be January 25th with Julie Davis, CEO of the YWCA. You will not want to miss this meeting. It'll be a great meeting. Please invite a friend. A special thanks to our gold sponsors, Weeby Trees, Tim Nall, Max Electric Supply, Jack McGlumphy, RSU TV, Royal L's, Hearts for Hearing, Kaylee Clark, Caldwell Banker Select, Brenda Melicon, and Sheree Gardner. And to this week's meeting sponsors, Interim Healthcare, Terry Heritage, John Croissant, Allstate Agency, John Croissant, Lewis Roofing, Kevin Lewis and Ken Freeman, and Mr. Ed's Auction, back there in the back, Mr. Ed. Committee meetings today include Board of Directors, room 231, New Member Orientation, room 232, Above and Beyond Awards, room 233, Rotary Youth Exchange in the Parker Hall. Again, thank you for joining us today. Let's fly high, dream big, and imagine Rotary. We are adjourned.